What's up YouTube? It's your boy Grassy TV back with another Hero Siege video. Season 5 begins on December 13th and has been fully loaded with over 200 new sub-skill trees across all classes, as well as new items and runes, a Hero Siege style mapping system, a rebirth of glyphs, angelic augments, better Chaos Tower scaling, much needed performance improvements across the game, and so freaking much more. I am super excited to explore the new season and very humbled to be making content on this awesome game. Today I present to you my starter build guide for Spearnage Amazon in Season 5. The Spearnage Amazon excels in using lightning piercing, spear attacks, and AoE skills to clear hordes efficiently. With high mobility and sustain, she's ideal for players who enjoy an aggressive combat style while weaving in defensive tactics. This build offers a smooth leveling process for both beginner and advanced players. In this guide, you will find information on build functionality, a step-by-step leveling guide, a gearing section, and much more. Let's get started. First, let's discuss some pros and cons of the Spearnage Amazon. As you can see from the footage, her main clear is large AoE spears. These spears have great leech mechanics as well as built-in life and mana sustain. The Spearzon is one of the few characters in the game to have an evade passive, and Spearnage can shotgun bosses and other tanky targets. However, she does require that good positioning for bosses in order to really maximize her DPS. You can get her very fast, however she's not zooming fast. And Spearnage really doesn't come online until you hit level 60, so while you're leveling, it can be a little bit slow at times. Let's review some of the skills that make this build function. First, we have our main damage, which is Spearnage. We fiercely throw lightning enchanted spears towards target locations. Once we have our augment, this ends up being a full circle that we throw them in. Our movement skill is Storm Dash. We dash towards a target location, striking nearby monsters with chain lightning. With the augment, this does turn into a teleport skill. We also have a nice damage buff, Astropi's Battle Maiden. This temporarily increases your lightning skill damage and attack speed. And 3 really good utility passives, one being Chooser of the Slain. This increases your life and mana after each kill. Feint gives you a chance to dodge melee and ranged attacks, and Thrill of the Hunt increases your movement speed. If you enjoy my content or find it useful, please consider donating. I am dedicating all donations and stream revenue in December to go towards my mom's fight with cancer. Of course, donating is not required to view my content, and I won't treat anybody differently, so only support if you can do so comfortably. To all of my contributors, thank you guys so freaking much. It's so hard to express how much that really means to me, so thank you. Within the written guide is a section designed to teach a few Hero Siege leveling basics to newer or returning players. If you're in this category, be sure to check that out, as it is really good information to have whenever you're leveling from 1 to 100. Next, let's talk about how to allocate points into our skill tree while we level. Use the tabs below to show the skill tree progression as you level. Keep in mind some classes may have multiple trees for AoE clearing, single target, or utility options. Starting at level 1, we're going to put all of our points into a Strope's Gift. This is really your best option. Make sure in the sub-skill tree that you grab additional projectiles. This will help a lot. Be sure to also put points into energy for early mana sustain. At level 8, I choose to respec into Rebound because it doesn't require a throwing weapon to get the additional projectiles or bounces like a Strope's Gift does. Choose whichever works best for you. They are both lightning attacks. At level 16, we get Spearnage anyway, and that's going to feel like night and day. At level 16, we're going to respec one more time, put 1 point into Chooser of the Slain. This is your life and mana sustain on kill. The rest will split between Spearnage and Storm Dash to increase the damage of Spearnage without increasing its mana cost. At level 30, we're going to respec one more time, put 1 point into Chooser of the Slain, 1 point into Storm Dash, 1 point into Astropi's Battle Maiden. With the rest of your points split between Spearnage and Lightning Fury. The reason for the respec here is that Lightning Fury has a higher damage synergy than Storm Dash, and putting more points into Storm Dash would increase its mana cost, and we're using that as our main movement ability, so we want to keep the mana cost on that low. At level 60, we're going to max Spearnage, max Lightning Fury, put a few extra points into Chooser of the Slain for more sustain, and the rest of our points will go in either Storm Dash or Rebound. You can also put 1 point into Thrill of the Hunt. This is a movement speed passive. However, if you don't have a lot of plus skills, it's really not going to do too much for you. Again, completely optional. At level 80, max Storm Dash. Put the rest of your points into Rebound. Again, Thrill of the Hunt, 1 point. It is optional. And our final level 100 Spearnage tree is going to look just like this. We'll max Spearnage, max Lightning Fury, max Storm Dash, max Thunder Goddess Chosen. Put 1 point into Chooser of the Slain. You can put more here if you want some additional sustain. 1 point into Battle Maiden. 1 point into Thrill of the Hunt for the movement speed. and the rest is really up to you. You can dump everything into Thrill of the Hunt to get more movement speed, or you can dump it all into Rebound. This will give you additional damage for Spearnage, as it is a synergy. Sub skill trees are a new feature in Season 5. Simply click on the plus sign in the top right of the skill you're looking to spec into, and a new window will pop up. You gain 1 point for every 5 character levels for every skill that you have allocated. You can reset this tree anytime for free, as well as you can have 1 augment per skill. Listed below are all these sub-skill trees that I recommend while leveling. First is Spearnage. This tree focuses on maximum projectiles and maintaining your movement speeds to allow you to move through zones. We do this by taking the node that reduces the diminish when we attack, as well as we do grab the augment that makes our Spearnage now shoot in a circle. Second is Storm Dash. This tree offers 60% lightning break, the ability to dash through terrain, and a chance to stun monsters. In the footage you can see me teleporting. This is due to Storm Dash. You can actually change it into a teleport skill. I prefer to use this while I'm just generally farming, but I will switch to the other tree whenever I'm bossing, as I do get, the lightning break makes it way easier for killing bosses. Let's talk about attribute allocation. Skills can be quite expensive to use early, especially as you put more and more points into them. It's increasing the mana cost. You will want to put points into energy until you can find your first flat skill damage item, as well as some sustain so you're not chugging on mana pots. After that, follow a 50-50 split rule between intelligence and vitality. You'll do 2 points intelligence, 2 points vitality for every level. Let's move on to gearing. This section is designed to give you workable suggestions on what gear to acquire at different stages of the game. You as a player need to look at your current gear and figure out what options make the most sense for you. Due to the addition of the sub-skill trees, there are item procs or combinations that will not be listed here, as they aren't discovered yet. It's up to you to experiment. Alongside gearing in Season 5 is star levels. Be sure to check out my star levels video explain for more information, but this is really for more advanced players and won't affect your playthrough. So don't worry, none of the gear that I'm using in this guide has star levels on it, as it is not required to complete any content in the game. For most of leveling, you'll be searching for rare or mythic items that match your character's damage type, but you may come across some satanics that also make sense to use. I cannot guarantee you dropping a specific satanic, nor will you stop leveling to farm for a specific satanic, so my gear recommendations will not include them. Rune words, however, are nearly guaranteed, as the bases are very common and you can obtain rune from completing quests in Act 1 normal, Nightmare, and Hell, then using the prospect station in Act 1 to downgrade runes to the ones that you need. This does not include the runes that you'll naturally drop playing the game. Be sure to check the runes level requirement and the white bases level requirement to ensure that you meet the requirement for both. The in-game journal is a bit misleading on the minimum level requirements for starter rune words, so best to check for yourself. Again, we are looking for normal through mythic items generally while we're leveling, so starting with weapons, here are some of the affixes that you'll want to look for. Some rune word options to consider. The first is Sky Song. You can use this as early as level 29. Be sure to make this in a bow. Second is Malice. You can use this as early as level 15. You can make this in a one-handed sword. If you choose to go the one-handed option, here are some of the offhand affixes that you'll look for, as well as some rune words to consider. The first is Sky Song. Again, you can use this as early as level 29. This is your offensive option. Be sure to make this in a shield. Second is Divine Contemplation. You can use this as early as level 21. It is your defensive option. You'll want to use a 3-socket shield. This has a ton of resistances on it. Here are some helmet affixes to look out for. Some rune words to consider. The first is Scholar. This gives us a skill, some lightning skill damage, mana on kill, some physical damage reduction. Overall, pretty decent. Flesh Ripper is also available at level 29. This can give you some attack speed, crit chance, lifesteal, life, as well as up to 20% all resistance. Here are the chest affixes to look out for. Some rune words to consider. The first is Shadow. You can use this as early as level 17 and gives you a ton of movement speed. Second is Dystropos. You can use this as early as level 35. This has up to 4 skills on it with 30 intelligence. This is also 30 magic skill damage, lightning skill damage, and minus enemy lightning resistance. Very, very beefy chest. Here are the glove affixes that you should look out for. Boot affixes to look out for. Some rune word options to consider. The first is Quick Steps. You can use this as early as level 31. They're very cheap and they boast a shitload of movement speed. You also get a ton of attack speed, life per hit. Another option is Ghost. You do need a Mal for this, but it does give you movement speed, some physical and magical damage reduction, as well as movement phasing, allowing you to pass through enemies and objects. Here are the belt affixes that you'll look for, ring affixes to look for, amulet affixes to look for, and charm affixes to look for. As a fresh level 100 character, there really isn't best in slot gear at this point. Most items could be swapped with strong mythics. Item decisions are going to revolve around how your character feels over direct power upgrades. For example, if your character has a built-in teleport but low cast rate, choosing items that have higher, faster cast rate than others can make the build feel more smooth to play. You could put any combination of these budget items together and feel capable of completing hell difficulty and begin pushing difficulties. Do not underestimate how strong mythic items can be, especially with the new star level system. First, we have weapons. You can use a Sky Song and a bow. Try and find a skills, intelligence, or lightning skill damage base. Another option is Valkyrie's Thunder Javelin. This does have plus up to 4 Amazon skills, a ton of attack speed, lightning skill damage, and minus enemy lightning res. If you end up going a one-hander option, you can use a shield. Either a Sky Song, Divine Contemplation, or Thunderlord Aegis are all decent options. If you're still wearing a Scholar, you might as well just move up into a Flesh Ripper. It's much better. Tiniber's Grievance is also a decent option, giving us plus 2 skills, some attack speed, as well as flat damage. Crown of the Midnight is arguably the best option here. It does give up to 3 skills with 30% magic skill damage. And Colossal Avenger is also very nice, as it has up to 30 all resistances with 3 skills and some additional leech. For chests, Astropos is most likely your best option here. Again, it does give up to 4 skills on it with lightning skill damage, minus enemy resistance, up to 30 int, which is also magic skill damage. It's just a very strong chest. However, Heaven's Might is really insane too. It gives up to 4 skills, a ton of physical damage and magic damage reduction, 100 vitality, and up to 6 sockets. And if you're hurting for resistances, Gladstone Goose has 65 all res on it. Most likely a super cheap option is Zeus's body armor. This just again has some lightning skill damage on it and some minus enemy lightning res. However, the Astropos just really outclasses this, and it's so easy to make. For gloves, Siege Breakers is my choice for the res and ignore target defense, but Mebius's is also decent, as you do get up to 3 skills on it. For boots, we do have Zeus's battle boots. These give some lightning skill damage and minus enemy lightning res. Quicksets is probably your best option here, as it does offer a ton of movement speed with up to 40% attack speed and life leech. However, if you are able to make ghosts, this is nice for the movement phasing. And if you drop a pair of Grand Wizard Silk Shoes, those do have plus 3 on them. However, you get no movement speed on them, so probably not your best choice. For belts, Tribal Belt gives all res and attack speed, but Commander Sash is my preferred choice, as it does give you attack speed, dual leech, physical damage reduction, and up to 20% all res. And if you need arcane resistance, Lich Sash is an okay option. For rings, 2 Kodo's Wedding Bands is really nice. They both have a skill on them, up to 30% movement speed, leech, and life. The Ton of Frequency is your best option for damage, as it goes up to 30% lightning skill damage with minus 20 enemy lightning resistance. Of course, if you find an insane mythic ring with plus lightning skills on it, you could always star level that. For amulets, all of these are great options. Calyx Fury is probably the best option, as you do get 30% attack speed, which is a more damage multiplier with enhanced damage on top of that. But All Seeing Eye having 3 skills on it with up to 50% Magic Find is very intimidating as well. And last, we have Charms. Here are some affixes to keep an eye out for on Mythic Charms. Satanic Charms aren't really an early game buy. They will be rather expensive. However, I did want to show you one. Wind Token offers up to minus 35% enemy lightning resistance. This is very strong. However, you do take a 75% lightning resistance penalty. It is completely worth it. As far as balancing goes, this part is still underway in the beta. I will be testing all builds live on Twitch and updating this section in the written guide as I do, but I would rather have this section empty than to steer players in the wrong direction. Here's a list of all the relics that work with this build. You're going to have to decide on your best option based on your current gear, stats, and build feel. However, the first 4 are the ones that I recommend, with the utility options being the remaining. Currently in Season 5, Mercenaries generally only have one purpose, being a Magic Find or a bot. Mercenary Magic Find is applied to your on-kill Magic Find, so we will be stacking as much as we can get. Here's the Mercenary skill tree I recommend. And for gear, again, generally we're looking for the most Magic Find. However, for weapons, there is Aurora's Might, which can give you a huge resistance bonus on your character early. Once you've solved your resistances for your character, any of these options, Sacred Whip, Ceremonial Dagger, or Death Smear, are good Magic Find weapon options. Here's some assorted Magic Find chests, Magic Find helmets, and Magic Find offhands. Below is a list of satanic potions and their effects. I recommend damage options first, then build into some utility, but the choice is really up to you. Here's a detailed starter highlight filter made by me specifically for this build. This ensures that you will highlight exactly what you need all the way to hell. Below that, I do explain how I put this filter together so that you know exactly what is being highlighted if you want to make changes. Remember that highlight filters do not hide any items. You need a filter in order for that to happen. If you're not sure how filters work, be sure to check the written guide. I do have a bit more explanation on how filters work, as well as I do have the beginner's guide that goes really in detail on how filters work. Again, this is just a highlight filter. And that's going to wrap up today's starter build guide for the Spearnage Amazon in Season 5. I truly hope this guide helps you in your journey. It was a ton of work, and I can't wait to see how blown away everyone is by Season 5. Be sure to check out more starter builds at the end of the written guide or via link in the description. Hit that subscribe button to let me know you want more Hero Siege content, and come say hi on Twitch at twitch.tv/Graxy_TV for live Graxy fun. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video.